Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Faculty Review Forum. I'm your host, Crystal Keller, and today we have with us Professor Darryl Thompson. How are you today, Professor Thompson?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So, we know that you're a man of the stage, but who is the real Darryl Thompson?
That's a hard question to answer. It's more like an onion, you know. I've got so many layers. I grew up in Northwest Florida.
Okay.
I was originally a jeweler. I was a jeweler for about 25 years, but I have always done theater, so I had the calling to be an actor. But then as I got older, I realized that I really wanted to be a teacher. And in my late 30s, I decided to go back to school and to get a degree for theater and teaching. And speech was one of the side things that I did that I really found that I enjoyed, was the speech teaching, the public speaking. Oh. And so that's how I kind of got into teaching most of you guys in this department, as a matter of fact.
Right. So, I mean, as far as a teacher, what made you choose Savannah State University?
Well, right out of school, I graduated in 2004 with my Master's of Fine Arts, and I got a job at Prairie View A&M University out in Texas, outside of Houston. Mm-hmm. That was my first HBCU. I somehow knew that I was always going to work at an HBCU, but I didn't know that it was really going to happen. But I spent 5 years there, and I took a year off. I moved back to my hometown in North Florida because I wanted to start a community theater in the town. Mm-hmm. Because it's a depressed little area and there are a lot of talented people there, and I wanted to have something for the youth to do instead of going out and being bad guys and what have you. And so after I got the theater started, I started looking for a job, and I saw that Savannah State had an opening and jumped on it.
Wow. Okay, so you had your own little acting troupe, huh?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. It was just a small little group of community members that we got together and put on a couple of plays, and
wow.
It seemed fairly successful. And I believe, I'm not swearing to God, but I think it's still going today.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So, I mean, as far as teaching-wise, you've been in the kind of pre-production phase, kind of, sort of, but how long have you really been teaching?
I have been teaching, well, let's see, I was one of the lucky ones because I got to teach when I was in my undergrad.
Oh, wow.
So I've been teaching about 15 years now.
Wow.
Maybe
so
a
what
year or two more.
Keeps you going? 15 years, that's a really long time. So what keeps you going as a teacher, that hunger for students?
I don't know. Leaving a legacy, maybe. I feel like as far as the theater is concerned, I do have a lot of information, and it's something that I feel is useful to everyone, and so I want that information to be passed on. It's like, I guess it's kind of like family stories. You don't want to lose them. You want to keep them going from generation to generation, and I kind of felt like that's what I needed to do. I wanted to make sure that this next generation understood the mistakes that I made,
right?
And in hopes that you guys don't make the same ones.
That's definitely kind of the underlaying of a teacher. Okay, so as far as teaching-wise, like most people think, you're a student, and we have this perception of teachers like, oh, they just teach and go to class, go to work, sleep, eat, repeat over. Like, what do you do outside of teaching in the classroom?
We're not that much different than the students, and if any teacher tells you that, they're lying. I actually bought a motorcycle about 2 years ago. I have never ridden a motorcycle in my life. I took the course that they offer here in Savannah to be able to learn how to ride a motorcycle, and so that's what I do in my time off. I just get on my bike and I ride. And I ride it here to school. I'm sure a lot of people see me up here with it, but that's how I kind of let steam go, and maybe take a book with me somewhere, a play that I've never read, and go find a nice marsh and sit on it. And
so as far as plays, who would be your favorite playwright? Or do you have a favorite genre or ideal realm of a play?
I like the absurdist plays. That was one of the first plays that I did here, was a play called The Ball Soprano, which had absolutely nothing to do with the ball soprano. It was a play that had to do more about people talking to one another but no one listening to each other. So the dialogue in the play was very obscure and non-related to anything, very non sequitur. So I really enjoy the absurdist plays, but I also enjoy the Greek plays and the Roman plays. And Shakespeare, I really have a good time with Shakespeare. I was very fortunate to be able to do a Shakespeare play at Prairie View, and we took the play and won several theatrical conferences with the play,
wow.
and it was an excellent experience.
Wow, that's great. I mean, do you have anything that you could probably give us right now? A little taste of something?
All right, I have a monologue that I usually have always prepared, but I'm not going to say that I've got it completely now, but I'm going to give it a go.
Okay, well.
All right, so, well, it starts, what can I say? I'm bald, so
Yeah.
hair.
Oh.
I was 18 when I started to lose my hair.
Oh.
At first I thought it was a phase. I thought that it would grow back. When I finally decided to do something about it, I went to a doctor. And he said, "I'm sorry, but there's nothing that we can do. Your hair is never going to come back." So I had to admit to myself that I am always going to be bald. See, I still have trouble saying it. Nowadays, when I walk around, I look at people and I look at their hair and how they cut it and perm it and bleach it and dye it and relax it, and all I can think of is, my God, I wish I had some hair. I mean, you don't know what it's like to have people walk up to you and they're looking at you and they're going, "Oh my God, you're losing your hair," and they say it with this just evilness that it's my fault, that it's something that I did or something in my genes. I don't know, and it really hurts a lot. So that's about it. That's the idea of it.
That's great. That was great. Like, it's so convincing. Most people don't know, it's convincing, being an actor. That's great.
I enjoyed it. I did that for our faculty recital a couple of years ago, and Dr. Dozier's husband was there, and he thought I was talking to him when I started doing it because he's like me.
That's great. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to kind of wrap it up and kind of go. We're going to come back, and we're going to give us a little bit more about our Professor Thompson.
After a long day of hard work, come over to Overtime Sports Bar and Grill, located across from SSU, where a great time equals a great night. Here they have great drinks, great music, a dance floor, pool table, and great people. At Overtime, you will have a night you won't remember at a bar you'll never forget.
I'm writing plays too.
And we're back with our Professor Thompson on our faculty review. He just informed me that he is working on a couple of plays. So can you give us a little bit about that?
Sure. One of the plays that I'm working on, well, let me preface this by saying the play that we did at Christmas, we did a Charles Dickens Christmas Carol last semester. And an instructor of mine, when I was an undergrad, she wrote the main part of the script, but then I brought that part. She allowed me to do it. I brought it here to Savannah, and we added another aspect to it. And so we did Christmas Carol, and so I'm going to claim part of the writing for that one. One of the plays that I'm working on right now is called Peaches Are People Too. And it's a cooking show. It's kind of a spoof of cooking shows. And I play the host on this show. Mm-hmm. And in this show, what we do is we have a chef who is cooking different meals that include peaches. All of the recipes have peaches in them. And while the chef is cooking the food, I'm talking to the chef and finding out about the chef and the food that we're doing. But I'm drinking peach wine. And so throughout the show, I keep drinking wine until I just get really schnockered and end up falling off the stool. But it's a takeoff of the TV shows that are out there now about all these cooking shows that everybody has to have a cooking show, so we're making fun of these cooking shows.
You have a lot of different things that are going on nowadays. But as far as your passion, obviously it's acting. And
what does that show? I
just
didn't realize that show.
But what makes you want to be a greater actor? Do you have anything or any type of tips and tools that you can give any aspiring actresses and actors?
I think the biggest tip would be to just be yourself. Let your personality shine through whatever character you're doing. I have always tried to do that, no matter if even if it's a serious role. Believe it or not, I do have a serious side, and I still allow my personality to shine through in these characters, because the characters that you read in a play, they're not real.
Right.
They're just words on a page, and the character has to exist in my mind as when anyone reads a play or a story. That scenario of that story exists only in their mind. And so the job of the actor is to take what is up here and put it into, give that physicality to it, to bring that character to life. And you have to use your own self. You can't use somebody that you're not, because that's impossible. Even though we think that we're looking at these characters from, oh, I'm not that person, so I can do this. But no, it's always going to be part of who the person is deep down. You have to accept that, and that's why a lot of people will tell you that actors wear their emotions on their hearts on their sleeves, because it's so emotional for us to get involved with things, and we have to know who we are, that person deep down inside, who we are and what our limits are.
Right, and as an actor, what are your preparations to actually gathering and focusing and harnessing all of your energy towards a character? Like, for Jamie Foxx in his role with Ray, he actually went like partial blind to actually get the feel for the role. What do you?
Can I tell you a little side story about that? All right, so the character that he played. Help me.
Ray?
Ray, yeah, hello. Yeah, there we go. My mother grew up in Greenville, Florida, which is where Ray used to go during the summers and spend with his aunt. And my mother remembers walking down the sidewalk when she was a little girl, hearing a piano being played in this one house, and it was Ray Charles when he was a child playing the piano. So my mother, she got to hear him.
Wow, that's amazing.
But anyway, what do? I spend a lot of time in the script. I pull out everything that I can about the character from the script. Sometimes I do a lot of research. I will, one of the great things that I got to do when I directed Oedipus Rex was I got to spend a summer in Greece and got to walk in the same places that these characters had been created. I do as much research as I can, and then the simplest thing that I do before a play, every night before a play opens, I just kind of meditate, and I ask all of the spirits from theater to come into me, to help me be a better actor. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's weird, but I mean, it works for me. Everybody has their own little thing that they do.
Right, and you have to do that in order to be as great as you are. So, as far as your students, do you have any students who we should kind of keep a lookout for?
Yeah, but I'm not going to name any names, but there are at least 3 here right now at this school that I truly believe you're going to hear from.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So do you have any type of productions that are coming up soon that we can...
I don't have anything right now. Now, we will be doing a joint Armstrong Atlantic University and Savannah State University will do a joint production in the fall. We're going to do a play called The Amen Corner, and we're going to use our students and their students in the play. So we're going to start this joint venture that we're going to try and keep going every year and build up and see if we can do a bigger show the next year and maybe even something downtown for everyone to see.
Great. So if you had a last little bit of advice for any students for their exams and everything, I want you to look in the camera and tell them exactly
which
what
camera
they need to
would you
harness.
like me to
Right
look
here.
at? This one. All right. You know what? Study. Study, study, study. Go home, put your nose in your book and read it. Don't just think it's going to come to you when you're sitting there in that chair. It's not.
Great. Well, there you have it. You've heard from our professor, Darryl Thompson, who's a great actor / teacher. And if you guys want to take his classes, they are offered.
Every
the
semester.
best teacher / slash actor ever. He's a great teacher, great teacher. So if you guys are interested, please feel free to actually take his courses. And I've taken him personally. Public speaking, perfect. Keeps you confident, being able to just get out there and say what you have to say. But he's a really great teacher, and I really would recommend him to all of the students.
Thank you.
So, other than that, do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
I just have to tell you that she was a wonderful student. I really do care for my students. I think they're the reason that I'm here and the reason that we have a future in the United States is because of the guys that we have, you guys, you students here at this campus. I'm just really proud to be here, and I'm proud to be able to say that I helped you along your way.
All right, you guys, well, there you have it. You've heard from our Professor Darryl Thompson for our Faculty Review. I'm your host, Crystal Keller. Thank you for tuning in.